If the New York Giants are serious about competing in the NFC East this season, they need to go out and sign a couple of more good football players. And they may be getting an additional $12.0 million in salary cap space if and when Darren Waller retires. Right now, the Giants have just about $1.1 million in cap space. But if you add the $12 million that they're going to get when and if Darren Waller retires, they will have plenty of money to go out and sign maybe a starting corner or another interior defensive lineman or another quality depth piece on the offensive line. My question to you, though, before we start today's video breaking down free agent targets is this. Should the Giants sign someone before training camp? Or is the roster good where it is? Let me know what you think. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Sound off in the comments. Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody stopping by as we break down the latest news and rumors that surround this team. The Giants have plenty of needs still on this football team. I'm worried about defensive tackle. The offensive line has not looked good in OTAs, but my number one position that I am concerned about is the outside corner on the opposite side of the field when it comes to Deonte Banks. I have all the confidence in the world in Banks. I think in year two, he's going to take a leap, and by this time next year, we're going to be talking about Banks being one of the nicest and best young corners in this league. But I really don't have all that much confidence in Cordell Flott being a boundary corner and doing that at a high level. I don't believe David Long Jr. is that guy I want to be out there either. Andrew Phillips is going to play in the slot, as well as Nick McLeod. We don't know what we're going to get from Trey Hawkins in his second year out of Old Dominion after being a sixth-round pick in 2023. Aaron Robinson is always hurt, and Darnay Holmes is nothing more than a slot guy at this point. Maybe you rely on one of the UDFAs you bring in, but even then, that's somewhat tricky. So the Giants need to go out. If they are serious, if Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll are serious about winning football games, they need to go out there and sign a proven veteran corner. And there's still, in my opinion, a top 15 corner in this league right now that is available. And it's Stephon Gilmore. If the Giants want to compete, if the Giants want to win games, if Brian Daboll wants to keep his job, he needs more talent on this team. And if you go out and add Stephon Gilmore, who is 33 years old and still a really good football player, you then have two really good corners. You got two good pass rushers. You have a nice defensive tackle, the best defensive tackle. You got two good inside linebackers, and you got young safeties that I think have limitless potential. Stephon Gilmore should be the person that the Giants go out and sign. He is my number one free agent target for this ball club right now. Is he a little bit older? Yes. Are his best days behind him? Absolutely. But I think he would be right now the best corner on this team. I think as we speak today, who is better at being a cover corner, Gilmore or Banks? It's Gilmore. But even if Gilmore takes a step back compared to where he was last year, where he had 13 PBUs and had 2 interceptions and allowed a QB rating of 83 and allowed 4 touchdowns and just 650 yards and a completion percentage of 54.9. If he takes a step back from that guy, he's still the best corner maybe on this team, and he gives Deonte Banks a veteran to lean on, to learn from, to help him become that guy in this league. It's a no-brainer. Go out and give Gilmore the money you were giving Darren Waller, and let's go battle with the top defense in the NFC. If you don't want to sign Gilmore and you want to sign a little bit of a younger corner, Xavier Howard is the guy that I have my eyes on. He's 30 years old compared to 33 when talking about Stephon Gilmore. And Howard, I think, would be all what we talk about Gilmore being, as well as a veteran presence and a leader that Banks can lean up to. He was a guy that was at one point the leader in interceptions in the league year in and year out. And he was a guy that has great ball skills. Is he a shutdown corner anymore? No. Does he give you a good tandem, though, with him and Banks? Absolutely. Is he better than anyone on this roster at corner outside of Banks? Yes. The Giants should be interested in Howard and Gilmore. If you don't want either of those guys, maybe because they're too expensive, and you're looking for a vet just to provide that leadership, mentor, big brother type of vibes to Banks, I would like to bring in Patrick Peterson, 33 years old and definitely on the last legs of his career. But he was still solid, I would say, last year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not the same guy he was, not the guy that people remember with the Arizona Cardinals, but he only allowed a completion on 51% of the targets, had 11 pass breakups, 2 INTs, less than 400 yards. If it's a veteran, a minimum deal, yeah. Lace his contract up with some incentives, yeah, I would sign Patrick Peterson tomorrow. Who would you sign, though? My question to you is that. Factor in how much it would cost to sign each player. He'd be the most expensive, second most, third most. Pick one to sign. Let me know in the comment section. From outside corner to interior defensive line. I have Raheem Nunez-Roches pictured as the starting defensive tackle. That could easily be Jordan Phillips, who you sign in free agency from the Buffalo Bills. But if either one of those guys are your starting DT, you don't really have a strong presence there. Maybe DJ Davidson in his third year becomes that guy. Maybe someone like Jordan Riley in year 2 does that. Maybe the UDFA out of SMU, Elijah Chapman, undersized, becomes that guy. I think the Giants should go and double down on their strongest position group, which is the defensive line, and go out and sign Calais Campbell. He is older. There's no doubt about it. But there's not many people in the league last year that had 10 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks, and 56 tackles, and he played all 17 games. I'm not worried about the age catching up to him at this point. And I'm not looking for an ace when it comes to the defensive tackle position. I'm looking for a guy that can just balance out the rest of the defensive line. If you go Lawrence as well as Campbell with Thibodeaux and Burns, that's a lot of pressure on opposing offensive lines. And when you can put pressure on quarterbacks, you're going to have a lot of success on the defensive end. If Calais Campbell is too expensive, a guy like Lawrence Guy, wish I didn't say that, but you know what? We're too far at this point to restart. Lawrence Guy would be a great addition as well. Is he the guy that a lot of people remember? No. Is he the best player in the league at this position? No. Is he at the top of his game anymore? No, but he's a serviceable veteran that can eat up some innings for you and provide you another run stopper on the interior defensive line. If you're looking for someone to just play occasionally and have had some experience in this league, once a Giant, always a Giant, what about Linval Joseph? I'm pretty sure he overlapped when he was a part of the Minnesota Vikings with Andre Patterson. Shout out to Still Dre. The Giants need to add somebody on the defensive line. And I think Linval Joseph would make a lot of sense for this team. Cheap, one-year deal. Obviously, the production has gone down each of the last 4 seasons, but I still think there is someone in there that can contribute when they are on the field periodically. He's not someone that needs to play every single down anymore, but you do need someone that I think has proven something at that interior defensive line position. I know this for a fact, though. If the Giants make a move, we're going to make a video. And if they sign somebody, we're probably going live on the channel. So if you want free, informative, entertaining, passion-driven content on your New York Football Giants every day, subscribe to the channel and help us get to 50,000 subs. Coming up next, we got to talk about the offensive line. Through OTAs so far, the offensive line has not been all that great. They have struggled a little bit. And I don't know how much confidence that I really have in them at this point. I know Andrew Thomas is going to be great. I really am expecting John Michael Schmitz to take a big step, but I still don't know about Evan Neal. He's still not a full participant at OTAs. He was on the side at practice on Thursday riding the stationary bike, and it sounds like he may have had a little bit of a setback. Don't know for sure, but he was doing less at practice today than he was in the prior weeks. I don't believe in Evan Neal. I wish I did, because if I did and he was good, that means the Giants' offensive line will be in a really good spot. I'm not so sure. I think Jermaine Illuminor will play more games at right tackle than Evan Neal does for the New York Giants this year, and I hope I am wrong about that. So if you bump Illuminor out to right tackle, that means you have a hole at the guard position. That could be Aaron Stinney. That could be Austin Schlottman. But I also think taking a look at Connor Williams and seeing where he is in his rehab, as he did tear that ACL with the Miami Dolphins in the later part of the season, could make some sense. I had heard that he is still rehabbing, which is not the best sign in the world, but this is a guy that's one of the best run blockers in the NFL. He started off his career with the Dallas Cowboys at the guard position, signed with the Miami Dolphins, and then played center, so he's got that versatility, and he's someone that has just produced at a high level. In 497 snaps last year, he allowed 1 sack, 1 QB hit, and just 4 QB hurries. I think it makes a lot of sense if he is healthy. If you want to swing for the fences, which I don't know how realistic this is, but he is a free agent, maybe the best offensive tackle left. That's David Bakhtiari, the longtime Green Bay Packer. Injuries have just kind of been his thing. Only played 55 snaps in 2023, just 27 snaps in 2021. But when he's been on the field, no matter what year it is in his career, he's one of the best in the business at it. Could he bounce out to right tackle? I'm not sure. Is it worth a look? I think so. If you could have Andrew Thomas and Bakhtiari as your bookend tackles, you're at least good for a year. Bakhtiari, I believe, is 32, 33 years old. Look, we all want Evan Neal to be that guy. But I don't need to touch the stove to know it's hot. I know the stove is hot. Maybe you need to do something about it. DJ Humphries, another player I think the Giants could at least maybe look at. I'm sure they already have. One of the most notable free agents left at that offensive line position. Not a great player. Not anyone that's going to blow your socks off, but he's someone that's at least produced in this NFL level at a average level, and maybe that's all the Giants need at this point. What do you think? Should the Giants sign someone before training camp? We talked about D-line, D-tackle most notably, outside corner, and offensive line. Do you think they should sign someone? I think they should absolutely sign an outside corner. But you know what? I'm not the GM. I'm just a guy that makes YouTube videos. Let me know why for yes and for no. And make sure to follow me over on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up over there, and let's go Big Blue.